this is basically what heart disease is all about. Is this process, the same process. This can happen in any blood vessel, right, throughout the body. Coronary heart disease is when it's happening in the arteries and veins and vessels of the heart itself, right? Same thing. It's just we're talking about that thing happening in the heart. See, there's the plaque. Okay, that's what heart disease is. And that greatly affects our blood pressure, which we'll talk about in a second. So let's look at this first of all, because I talked about the importance of the water in terms of it produces a natural flow when it comes in contact with the endothelium. But the other thing is the water itself helps thin the blood out. And it's not real easy to see from this slide, but these are much more separate. You see, this is what we want. We want separate kind of blood cells like this. These are all clumped together. When they're clumped together like this, okay, these big clumps, it's much more difficult for those red blood cells to get through the vessels themselves. I mean, imagine a single blood cells getting through this narrow one versus big clumps trying to squeeze through this. Okay, it's going to affect the rate of your blood flow. This shows a little bit better picture showing the blood being clumped versus separate. Okay, and I talked about this in another video, but this is from earthing, from grounding, right? So I talked a second ago about how the infrared energy from the sun increasing the rate of blood flow. Well, also the negative ions that come into the body through earthing or grounding, okay, really, really help the thinness of our blood in helping those blood vessels travel through our circulatory system effortlessly. Okay, if it's clumped like this, it's very difficult for that to happen. Okay, so the earth is a great friend for our heart too, the sun and the earth. Okay, and this kind of illustrates it here too, is with the capillaries. Now, because the penis has a lot of capillaries. It has some of the smallest blood vessels in the entire body, except for the eye. That's the only exception. But other than that, it's in the penis. And some of these blood vessels, like these capillaries, are so small, only one red blood cell can get through at a time. So you can imagine it's going to be way easier for these blood cells to get through than these. And it's going to be much faster when these go through than these. Okay? And another reason it's going to be much faster with these separate ones is that the reason they're separate is because they now have a negative charge on them because of the earthing. The earthing brings in negative ions into our body and charges these red blood cells with negative ions. And if you remember from your science class, like charges repel, right? Opposite charges attract. So since these all have negative ions on them, they're repelling each other. And that's what's keeping them separate, not sticking to one another. Okay, but that negative charge is also helping greatly because it's pushing the one in front of it. Remember, negative like charges repel. So negative repels negative, repels negative. So the one behind it is pushing the one in front of it. So it makes a much faster blood flow. And that's what we want, to get quicker erections, right? You get that on quickly is having really great blood flow overall. You know, not this sticky, thick blood, but you know, these nice isolated red blood cells that can just flow through there fast. And we can kind of see how this looks inside the penis itself is, you know, it starts to come in through these bigger vessels. And these are still pretty small, arterioles and venules. They're pretty small, but then they turn into these capillaries like I just showed you, right? These really small ones. And you see how they interface here, right? So it's giving the body the nutrients and the oxygen that it needs. So this red blood coming in from the heart is oxygenated, so it's going into the penis and it's giving all the great oxygen and nutrients that the penis needs through these capillaries. But then as that's being used up, it continues through this capillary net, right? And then goes back to the heart. all right, and then to get more oxygen so it can come back and feed the penis again. And this is just kind of showing that again, how that's working, okay? From the heart coming, you can imagine this is in your penis, and then it's going back to the heart to get more oxygen. Okay, we want a good flow there so we can keep that oxygenated and healthy. So what I want to talk about here is where things can go wrong, okay, and what we got to be careful about.
If you would like help with your unique and personal situation from us, I put a link below that will explain all the different ways that we can help you get and maintain superior stage 4 rock solid hardness and lasting power both permanently and naturally at any age. Make sure you like and subscribe for more tips to attain elite level bedroom performance, and I will see you in the next one.